Welcome to the deep dive. So, if you're into RC cars, you know this situation, right? You're out, maybe at the park, having a blast with your vehicle, and inevitably someone walks up. Hey, can my kid have a go? It's a polite question, but it puts you in a really tricky spot. So today, our mission is basically to give you a solid, factual way to explain why your hobby-grade RC isn't actually a toy. And, do it politely. Okay, maybe let's start with a killer analogy, just to frame this. Think of it like this. A toy RC, that's like one of those plastic Power Wheels cars. Kind of disposable, simple, built for rough play. But your hobby-grade car, that's much closer to a real car. It's complex, needs maintenance, skill. And if you get a vintage one, well, you're basically driving a restored classic.
That's a great way to put it. And it's important because when you say no, it can't just sound like, it's mine. It really needs to be grounded in objective facts, things like safety, the actual cost involved, and just how complex these things are. The core problem is people just assume it works like a $50 toy they saw at the store. Let's tackle the biggest difference first, speed. And the safety aspect that comes with it. Toy cars, they're built to be slow, usually 5, maybe 15 miles per hour tops. Hobby-grade vehicles, though, even the basic kits, they can easily hit 25, maybe 35 miles per hour. And if you're running a more advanced setup, well, you can blow past 50, even 70 miles per hour.
70. Wow, that's literally road speed, but like in a park setting.
Exactly. And think about, say, a standard 110 scale model, maybe like that Tamiya Subaru brat you mentioned. It weighs over 4 pounds. Now, you combine that mass, 4 pounds plus, with speed, let's just say 30 miles per hour, which is pretty standard. Well, that vehicle has some serious kinetic energy. It's basically a projectile. It could cause real injury, real damage. So you're protecting yourself from, frankly, a huge liability risk.
Okay, so the safety risk alone is a huge point. But let's talk about the cost, the money side of things, because if speed is reason one, value is definitely reason two. The gap here is just immense. Like you said, toy cars, maybe 30 to 80 bucks. A proper hobby kit, though, especially when you build yourself, you're looking at $300 easily, maybe up to $1,200 or even more. And that's before electronics, right before batteries, motor, radio gear. And get this, if you happen to run vintage, like that original 1979 Tamiya Sand Scorcher, we're talking collector value, seriously, between like $2,900 and $5,100. That is absolutely not a toy. It's a valuable, sometimes irreplaceable piece of history.
And that leads right into the third point, complexity. How you actually control it. It takes real skill. A toy controller is usually just switches. Full throttle or nothing. Full left or full right. Hobby-grade systems. They use fully proportional controls. You've got a transmitter, a receiver, an ESC, that's the electronic speed controller, and a steering servo. It means the speed matches exactly how far you pull the trigger. The steering angle matches exactly how far you turn the wheel. It's precise. So handing that kind of sensitive proportional control to someone, especially a child who hasn't practiced, it's pretty much like giving them the keys to a performance car with touchy steering. They're going to overcorrect. They'll almost certainly crash it instantly and probably break hundreds of dollars worth of, delicate parts.
Right. So we have these really solid reasons. Speed, cost, complexity. How do you actually communicate that without sounding like a jerk? The sources suggest using something called the AER framework. Acknowledge, explain, redirect. It's a way to kind of turn it into a teaching moment, not a conflict. So first you acknowledge their interest. Something like, hey, that's cool you're interested. It was pretty neat, right? Then you explain briefly, focusing on the key facts. Remember the speed and the safety liability aspect. It goes over 30 miles an hour, so for safety, you can't really let anyone else drive it. That's usually the clearest reason. And then you redirect. Offer something else. Maybe, hey, want to watch me do a really fast pass down there? Or I can show you how the suspension works up close. The idea is to be firm on the boundary, but, friendly about it. Use the facts.
Exactly. And when you look at it this way, this whole deep dive really shows you're not just being protective of a toy. You're safeguarding either, like you said, a valuable piece of collector's history, maybe something quite fragile, or you're protecting a complex, high-speed piece of sporting gear that you probably spent hours building yourself. And think about that building part for a second, that sweat equity. Many of these kits, like the classic Tamiya Grasshopper, they come with hundreds of tiny parts. It takes hours, sometimes days, of careful assembly. So the value you're protecting isn't just the money. It's the time, the skill, the craftsmanship you poured into it, the mechanical understanding gained. Which kind of leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on. What else in your everyday life looks simple on the surface, but is actually a hidden engineering project you've invested in that deserves that same kind of respect?